Alright, we're in. Hello everyone and welcome to Godfall. Autopsy for why this game is quite so maligned and quite so forgotten. So, bit of basics on this game. This is an always online game, which for years I had thought meant co-op focus, not really my thing. I prefer playing alone. I am an antisocial person. But that's not the case. I have played through the campaign of this solo and found absolutely nowhere where I feel co-op would have helped. Which does beg the question, why make it always online? That just, server issues, internet issues, etc. But anyway, let's have a look at the game's merits, ignoring the slightly baffling decision for this to be a primarily online game. So, let's hop into... let's go explore Earth. I think Earth is probably one of the... apologies. Air. Let's go explore the air realm. I think that's probably the most interesting. And have a look at what this game is. Okay. As this game's, fairly dead, it's not exactly popular. Servers are pretty quick to load because there's no one on them. So, this is a loot-based hack and slash. Which I just pushed the wrong button and healed accidentally. Can you tell I played something else last night? Think kind of... This is where this game gets a little bit weird. The combat is supposed to be flashy and combo heavy. I have found, and I don't know whether this is just because Dark Souls is my happy place, focusing more on getting parries and playing almost defensively works a lot better. Now, you do have abilities like this, very much didn't win, and that's perfect parry. Trying to talk and play, I am still getting used to, so expect me to miss a lot of parries. So, hack and slash combat with the loot emphasis. It's a reasonably interesting idea. I mean, plenty of games have done it before. It's not that original. Get rid of these two. But overall, the game is fun. The animations are flashy. Everything looks quite cool. The loot is rewarding. If we have a quick look at my infantry, that armory, that one, you'll notice like weapons are cool to look at, which I give this game lots of credit for. Its sense of aesthetics pretty much hits the mark. I've gone for heavy weapons, but all 5 weapon types work quite nicely. So, great swords, hammers. And then you've got daggers, longsword, and polearms. Polearms are quite a lot of fun. They have quite fun ranged attacks. So, yeah, overall the combat sort of quite as ignored as this game was. I don't get why, because the combat is not unfun. But I am dead back to the sort of who was this aimed at? Because most of us that want like single-player action RPGs, especially single-player loot games, are the guys that are really hostile to anything being online. So, I don't know, maybe the online's what messed it up. It's definitely not the most original, and the plot is, well, it's there, but it's not something I'm particularly going to write home about, or particularly understood. The sort of basic premise is your brother is evil, kill your brother's lieutenants and then your brother. That I can get behind, but I'm not actually sure what my character is. Obviously I am this suit of armour here, but when I change Valor Plate, the voice acting changes, the gender changes. Like, am I some kind of 4th dimensional being? It seems like an odd choice not to have a consistent protagonist, or not to explain why they're not a consistent protagonist. And yeah, the game's very sort of almost goes too far in the sort of mythical sci-fi setup, to the point that I don't actually know whether this is supposed to be kind of full-up fantasy or whether we're supposed to have sci-fi elements. It's a bit odd, to say the least. As I say, I feel this is the best realm. And moving up. And this is kind of where the game starts to kind of show its faults. Because this is what the game has to offer. Boss fights are fun, and I will go and show you one in a little bit. But they're not, it's more of this. It is this combat perpetually. There's the odd challenge, which are those pips you can see. They're chests that will drop loot. Tempting as it is to go and do some, I know how irritating the odd puzzlier challenge can be. One of them has you destroy exploding flowers and you have to get rid of them all and they respawn. And depending on the spawns you get at the start, depends on quite how irritating that is. So yeah, a repetitive experience, but not an unfun one. And the loot system is definitely rewarding. I'd like to see the suits of armour, so the thing I am wearing, which are called Valor Plate in this, I'd like to have seen them be more different. This one's quite tank focused, keeps a lot of health. To be fair, I picked it because it's tanky playstyle is normally the best bet to go if you're soloing something that would usually be co-op. But I really don't think I need it. I don't take that much damage, even when I'm playing really badly. So, let's hop back to our menu. In those free roams, you do just abandon. Equally, game really bad at explaining that. I had no idea how to get out of a free roam mission and keep the 5 levels I'd got. So these are the various Valor plates. This one's sort of electric elemental and in theory slightly faster, I think. But in the moment to moment, the weapons make the difference in your playstyle, not your armour. I think I wore this for a while. Yeah, this was poison focused. But they just don't feel different enough. I'd have wanted more abilities, more of... I did my time with Warframe, more of how they felt, where you were using abilities all the time, not just an ultimate, and it vastly changed your positioning and how you had to play. So let's hop and take a look at a boss. We'll avoid the main story bosses, just in case anyone's worried about spoilers, and do one of the lieutenant hunts. The crocodile's quite fun. Let's go hunt the giant crocodile. So nice, snappy intro animations for everything. Again, the game's quite well presented, even if what's actually going on is a bit. There's no lore. The story is quite basic, and the lore's just not really there. Which in a game with this much replayability, you'd want some storytelling through the environment, but it's just grand looking, slightly alien worlds every time. I don't want to fight you. Where's the boss? So the big bosses you don't have to run to. These hunt missions, you sort of have to find them, but it's not like Monster Hunter. You just kind of follow the objective pip until it turns up. Why did I spawn so far away? I'm going to keep healing accidentally. I have been playing something else. Keep running, keep running. Because the game only has 4 maps, assuming you have the expansion. You do everything on the map for this realm. So this is water, the last one you looked at was air, there is earth, and then the DLC map that I haven't finished yet is fire. which I'm inclined to finish. You know, the combat is fun enough. And here's the boss. Whack him in the mush. And I will try not to take too much damage. Yeah, boss has decided he's had enough of me, so now he's going to spawn a load. Ads again, like, I really don't see where I need a solo, where I need a co-op player, other than to sort of get in the way. The shield's also kind of disappointing. So there are various moves I can do with the shield. None of them feel that great. Stick my banner down, that just gives me a general buff while it's up. But yeah, I sort of wanted... The shields are all the same. No character has a different shield at all. Always a small round shield. Ugh, that was embarrassing. So there's no like big slow shield that has different parry timings and gives me different attack options, or just a shield focused on attacking. There is just a small round shield that can parry and do a couple of attacks, including, you know, be thrown at the enemy, bonk him on the head with the shield if I'm so inclined. And yeah, this is this game's biggest failing, is for the flash and how it looks. There's just not a lot to it. There we go, boss down. Nice fancy kill animation. That was incredibly messy. Got some loot. As I say, the loot's quite generous. That was one of my big problems when I tried Destiny years ago, was the loot just didn't come fast enough. Whereas this, I'm constantly getting new stuff, and if I have a look, that I might even consider using. Because you can up the rarity of items, which ups their damage, and that would probably then be competitive. Yeah, that would possibly be better. And that's just from like one mission and a few minutes running around the open world. So yeah, a interesting premise, but I think a lot of it gets lost in white noise. There are some interesting build options. I haven't really felt the need to optimize much. This is generally just the stuff that gives me the highest buffs, so most over health, most health recovery, health and spirit, you know, especially as sort of I'm tanking most of the time. But you know, if I remember rightly, this one's focused on kind of hitting weak points. There we go. Yeah, so this one's main focus is weak point damage. So you build something sort of focused around headshots, etc. Or this, which is the armor of the essentially final boss, so your brother's armor, is your crit build and your basic, like, do loads of damage, get loads of crit hits, which obviously works, and from what I've heard is as broken as crit builds usually are in this style of game. It is the thing that will get you to kind of end game with minimal resistance. And then various tank, if I remember right, this focuses on... Yeah, so this focuses on soul shatter. So if you noticed when I was fighting enemies, there would sometimes be a little bit of their health bar that was a different colour, and then when I hit them, they'd explode. That's soul shatter, which... again, feels like a kind of underused, slightly pointless mechanic, because I don't really get what it does. It doesn't seem to AoE when they die. So yeah, Godfall, a interesting game that feels like it was primarily intended as a solo experience, and then decided to be always online. There are sort of post-gamey elements over here. These are all unlocked as you play and into the post-game, and obviously are easier if you've got other players with you, but they're not insurmountable on your own. I'm not even close to the level cap. Level cap, I believe, is 50. So yeah, on a heavy enough sale, You know, assuming the servers remain up and your internet connection is pretty stable, I can recommend it as a time kill. Go get some loot. It was quite fun unlocking all the different armors. You know, it gave me a reason to explore, to find the right resources for each one. But I find myself going, there's some interesting ideas that were just never used. Anyway, yeah, so this is Godfall. A bizarre quirk of the ps5's launch. I'll see you next time.